Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your Raw Recap for Monday, May 24th. Let's do it. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. Took a little week off. Needed some time off from the WWE, but we are back. I'm kind of surprised that we're doing this again, but, you know, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. How do they do it? Shout out to The Godfather. Shout out to Raw tonight. Shout out to the members. Shout out to Angelo. I see Angelo on the chat. He is the only member I see on the chat right now, but shout out to all the regulars that are joining us as well. Lauren, TK, Bob Cote. Shout out to everybody joining us. We do appreciate it. I appreciate it. I say we, I mean me. It's the royal we. I watched Raw tonight. After WWE Backlash, I had enough. I took a break. I didn't watch wrestling for a week. It was too much. It's not what I wanted. And it's still not quite what I want in pro wrestling. But I think I'm at peace with it at this point. I think I'm at peace with the WWE is never going to be what I wanted it to be. And there is pro wrestling that I love, and there is some great pro wrestling out there. But there's something about the WWE that we want to kind of know, right? We want to follow along. We want to know the story. Because the story never ends. The story has, you could kind of trace back all the stories, and this guy beat that guy, and that guy beat that guy, and it all kind of it's attached together in history, if you understand what I'm saying. So I think we all kind of watch it. This is a very existential wrestling thought process that I'm going through. But it's been in my mind, like pro wrestling, the WWE, for example, right? Like you look at the WWE, and we've all followed the WWE through the years, and we all want to know where it's going because we all know where it's been. And that WWE Championship, like you could trace that lineage back to your favorite WWE champion. And you kind of want to know where it's at now. But where it's at now, it's nowhere near where it used to be, right? But there are some great wrestlers. There is some great talent that you can appreciate. Like we saw tonight. I thought we saw some very good professional wrestling tonight in some matches. Not every match, of course. But there's something about the WWE that kind of keeps me sucked in. And I can't follow it as closely as some do because it's just not that good. It's really hard to pay attention to these promos that are just not that interesting. So that's where I'm at with the WWE. They have to make me pay attention. And the wrestling I like, so I watch the matches, but the promos are just kind of, And Bob Cote making a good point. He says we want to see what the shows will be like once the fans are back full-time. And I agree with that 100%. I want to know what the fans do to change the product. I think the fans are going to change the product in a big way because they're going to respond or not to the talent. I think the main event is a big part of that. Not the main event tonight. I'm talking about the WWE Championship. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre. I'm talking about Bobby Lashley. They've tried to insert Kofi Kingston in there to kind of spice it up, but that Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley stuff that's been going on for a while, and, the Drew McIntyre run as a whole, I don't think would be well received by a live audience. And if you saw at WrestleMania when there was a live crowd, they didn't get much of a response at all. People aren't very interested in that. And that, to me, is a big problem and one of the main reasons why I'm just not so interested in Raw. Because it's supposed to be about the WWE Championship. It's Monday Night Raw. It's the WWE Championship. Those are two things that I care about right off the bat. You know what I mean? I care about Monday Night Raw as a franchise because I like Raw as a concept because I've seen Raw be very good. I like the WWE Championship because that's the title that Bret Hart held, that Hulk Hogan held, that Stone Cold held. Right? That's good for me. You say WWE Championship match and you have my attention. But then you say WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. And, I'm not that interested. You don't really have my attention. I think that's an issue. But hopefully when they do go back to a live audience, and they are going back to touring mid-July, you've seen those awkward promos that they're getting the wrestlers to cut on Raw. If you haven't, you didn't miss anything. Jeff Hardy did one tonight. He was like, the fans will be back, and they'll be chanting my name again. Hardy, Hardy. I'm like, you're by yourself in a room. I guess there's a cameraman there, but you're chanting your name. There's no crowd. It's just super awkward. It's super awkward. Hopefully the crowd makes it better. I really hope that the crowd makes it better. Doug Hepburn says he didn't see one bit of Raw because of the Leafs and the Canadians. Of course, the Leafs beat the Canadians tonight 2-1 in Game 3 of their playoff series. Are you guys impressed I know that? drop another bombshell here on the show. I actually watched some of the game while I was watching Raw. Like in the third period, I watched maybe a minute or two of the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. I saw like the last 2 minutes of the game. I saw that the Canadians were losing. It's unfortunate. I also saw that guy get his like head knocked off the other day. Man, that was crazy. I've seen worse stuff in the UFC though, so people were freaking out. But Tavaro or whatever his name is, Cesaro, Zazaro. What's that guy's name? Got his head knocked off. Hope that guy's all right. He's okay. He'll be fine. So Raw tonight. All that to say, I watched Raw, and quite honestly, I wasn't going to do the show tonight. I wasn't going to come on. Our next show was going to be on Thursday. We're going to come back on Thursday, going to do the UFC show. I still love the UFC. It's not as good as, when I was first getting into the UFC and really going hard. Like, for me, the peak UFC was like Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre and BJ Penn. Like, that was my favorite era of UFC. Now it's like not quite the same. Everybody's trying to be Conor McGregor. People are like too good at fighting now. Back then, people weren't as good as they are now. Now people are just too good at fighting. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's great to see. As a martial artist, I admire them tremendously, but I'm also very jealous. I'm like, you guys growing up with the UFC, you have no idea what it was like for me growing up as a kid where this wasn't even a sport. Didn't even exist. If the UFC was a sport when I was born, if it was as big now, like for my son, if I was 3 years old now, I'd probably want to grow up and fight in the UFC. That's crazy. I love that the UFC is an actual sport right now. Because when we were growing up, right, like it wasn't even a thing. It's a fighting league where anything goes pretty much. Like you could just fight with your hands and feet and wrestling and choking and all sorts of shit. Like that to me is still amazing that it's a professional sport, that it's on like all the sports channels. I think that's so cool. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing that's happened in my lifetime, that the UFC has become a sport. That's the coolest shit to me. Ultimate fighting is like a legitimate sport now. Fantastic. Paul M says, a lot of talk about Saturday night's main event on the chat. So I wasn't going to do the show tonight, but I was watching Raw. And I figured, I'll come on and I'll talk to you guys. Because you guys seem to enjoy these shows. And I appreciate that very much. I really do. And I'm talking to the members. I'm talking to Doug Hepburn. I'm talking to Angelo. I'm talking to Patrick Hamilton. I'm talking to Antoinette. I'm talking to everybody who watches the shows. But the members, I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. All the super chatters, all the members, anybody that's kind of given their hard-earned cash, to the show. I appreciate that so much. It's so nice of you guys. And it's really, I do the show for you guys. The fact that you guys, go out of your way. I mean, watching the show is great, and I appreciate that too. But, I mean, putting your money down. I saw my man, Brian Firth. He bought a hat from merch.ringsidereport.net. One of our new hats that we have, the baseball caps. And that is so cool. I appreciate that. You guys want to rock the merch. You guys giving your hard-earned cash to the show. So this show tonight is because I appreciate the members so much. WrestleMania Backlash kind of took it all out of me. I needed a week off last week. But, while I was off, I felt like, man, the members, I got to be here for you guys. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you guys. Close one. Very, it's crazy to me that anyone gives a shit about what I have to say about pro wrestling. It's still crazy to me. Even as long as I've been doing it, Like, we don't have the biggest audience in the world, and that's, cool. If we had a bigger audience, that would be great. I would love for more Doug Hepburns out there, for more Angelo Contagoneses out there, for more Patrick C. Hamiltons, for more Bob Cotes, more TKs, right? And hopefully one day we'll get there. And we're definitely bigger than we were a year ago. And that's all you can hope for, right? But I appreciate you guys, showing up week after week and being here with us. It means the world. It really does. I appreciate you. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you. I'll talk about Raw soon. I promise. So I'm doing the show here tonight for you guys. I'm doing the show tonight for you because I appreciate you. This is a thank you show.
Super chat. Super chat.
What?
Super chat.
Uh-oh. Angelo. Thank you, man. See, Angelo is like you're a gem of a man. Thank you for the super chat, Angelo. I appreciate you. Without you, I don't know where we'd get our wrestling info. Well, I can tell you that there are, there's a lot of guys out there, right? There's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of guys and girls out there doing wrestling talk, and that's why we're not the biggest. That's why we don't have millions of views, because there are other people doing it. If we were the only ones doing it, the market would be cornered. We'd be killing the game, right? That'd be great. But there are people out there that are doing it with bigger followings, and there's a lot of people out there. But I don't watch or listen to those people because I don't think that they're very entertaining, to be quite honest. I'm not really interested. I like to hear what Johnny North has to say about wrestling because he's a wrestler and he knows what he's talking about. I think I deliver a different perspective on pro wrestling because I'm I come from it from a grappling aspect. I'm not thinking about it like heroes and comic books and stuff like a lot of people do. I see it, from a different, I don't like comic books and superheroes, but a lot of people that like pro wrestling, they like that stuff, right? The Avengers movies and stuff like that, they're into it. Star Wars and all that stuff, pro wrestling, kind of nerd culture. I'm a big Nintendo nerd. I collect Amiibo and all sorts of Nintendo stuff. No offense to nerd culture. I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm just saying, pro wrestling and a lot of the pro wrestling people, I feel like people that cover pro wrestling come from a certain angle that I don't come from. I'm not interested in heroes and Captain Marvel or whatever I don't watch those movies. I don't like that stuff. So I come at pro wrestling from a different angle than a lot of people. Plus, I've been watching professional wrestling now for, over 30 years. Pretty seriously. I'm a submission grappler. I've been doing submission grappling for most of my adult life now. Going on, 10, 12, 13, 14 years? Who knows now at this point? Long time I've been doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu and stuff. So, I come at pro wrestling from a different aspect than most pro wrestling shows. And that's what I think we offer. If you like it, I thank you. If you don't like it, I saw some pretty negative comments. I got some pretty nasty tweets and negative comments on YouTube after the WrestleMania Backlash show because I didn't like the show and people were really mad about it. And, so be it. If you don't like the show, don't watch it. I don't care. You're one person. If you don't like it, what am I going to do? Beg you to come back? Saw some guy was so mad. He's like, I was going to subscribe to your channel. I've been watching for months, but I didn't subscribe because you hated WrestleMania Backlash. I was like, okay. Well, you've been watching for months and you didn't even subscribe? What's going on? Why didn't you subscribe, my friend? It was weird. So, if you like the show, cool. If you like the slant, you like where we come at pro wrestling from, you like the way we do it, cool. If you don't, I would assume you wouldn't watch the show, but some people seem to watch the show and not like it at the same time. I'm not really sure. Maybe they really like Johnny and they hate me or something. I don't know. That's a strange aspect to do in this too. People that watch the show seemingly regularly, like you've seen these comments before from these people, but it's like always negative. That's a weird one that I don't quite understand. People that seem to watch the show like pretty consistently, but don't like it. But I guess that's what I do with WWE, right? Why torture yourself, though? I mean, why am I torturing myself? I mean, I don't know. I think I just caught myself. I don't know. Maybe those guys are right. But would you really watch a YouTube show that you hated? You know what I mean? Like WWE, at least Raw was good. Maybe they used to like Wrestling Uncensored, and now they don't anymore. I don't know. I can't quite understand some people. I don't get it. But like TK says, another show I listened to gave Backlash a 7 out of 10. This is why I listen to you every week, Dave. Well, thank you, TK. Yeah, I just think I see wrestling differently than a lot of people. Not that they're wrong, because like I say all the time, wrestling is an art form and it's totally subjective. So, you know.
Super chat. Super chat.
Oh, Doug Hepburn dropping a big super chat. Thank you, Doug. Very generous donation. We appreciate you. He says, Lily made me do it. Good God Almighty. We didn't see her tonight, right? Did we see her tonight? I didn't see Alexa Bliss or the doll tonight. Did she do a promo that I missed? Because honestly, like, I'm watching Raw, I'm playing with my son, and I'm watching a pro wrestling, like, collector's auction. I bid on one thing, but I got outbid. On a Hulk Hogan Hasbro, I got outbid by somebody, and then it went, like, way higher than I was willing to pay, so I was just like, I'm out of this. Lily is the doll. Alexa Bliss's little doll. Angela wants to know who's Lily. So, like, it's possible I missed some stuff on Raw. And that's how I'm watching Raw now. Like, I was watching Raw way too seriously. You guys need to know, like, I was taking tons of notes, really listening to the promos and trying to figure out everything. Like, now, I can't do that anymore. I just can't pay that much attention to this, like, bad show. I could watch it kind of peripherally, but, you know, and watching it kind of from a distance is easier, and I could still tell you exactly what happened on the show, right? I still watched it. I didn't see an Alexa Bliss promo, though. Somebody could correct me on the chat, tell me if there was one, but I don't think there was one tonight, which was good, right? Because no one wants to see that. A long Alexa Bliss promo about how she's got an evil doll telling her to do things. Like, that's super weird. How is that a thing? Like, I'm still kind of like, is that real? Are they serious with that? Or maybe they gave up on it? But Alexa Bliss seems to have, like, Kane firepower, right? Because that showed up at the end. And I think that's Alexa, right? Because Alexa's messing with Shayna and Reginald? Or seemingly Shayna. She put, like, a curse on Shayna and hurt her knee in a match a couple weeks ago, and there was fire last week with Reginald, I think. I didn't even watch Raw last week. I watched Raw through WWE's Twitter feed. And, you know, you pretty much get what you need. You don't really need to watch the show. There's so many different ways to kind of get caught up on what happens on Raw. Oh, G-Mac on the chat. G-Mac is here. Uh-oh. G-Mac? The Bro KO was good, though. Yeah, it was. It was good. Will G-Mac be joining us Friday night? Friday night, we have a big show for you, okay? Friday night, it's going to be me and Johnny at 10 o'clock after Smackdown, like normal for Wrestling Uncensored, okay? But I think we're going to be doing the Double or Nothing preview, because that's this weekend, right? Harold Schneider dropping knowledge. Raw is like a soap opera. You don't have to watch everything and you still get it. Exactly. So Friday night, 10 p.m., we're going to do the Double or Nothing preview while we watch Dynamite. Because Dynamite's on at 10 p.m. on Friday night for some reason because it got bumped by the NBA, which sucks for Dynamite. But I don't think that's going to happen so much going forward because they're moving to TBS, right? So they won't get bumped by NBA on TNT so much. But TBS, I don't know what TBS has. I don't have TNT or TBS because I live in Canada and I don't have those channels. I watch Dynamite on TSN. Blah. TSN. I spit on your name, TSN. I disrespect you. So Friday night will be the Double or Nothing preview show. Friday night, 10 p.m. And a Dynamite watch-along somehow. And a Smackdown wrap-up show. There's going to be a lot happening here Friday night. Johnny North better keep up. He better keep up, okay? If G-Mac is here, I know G-Mac is very busy. And on Friday nights, I mean, Big Glenn McKenzie, who knows what he's doing on a Friday night at 10 o'clock? He's probably in the hot tub. Oh, he's in Ottawa on Friday. He might not be able to get back. Isn't Ontario still locked down? Are you allowed to go through the border? I don't know. So maybe Glenn will be with us on Friday, but Johnny will be with us. And then we'll talk about Dynamite, and we'll do like a Dynamite watch-along AEW Double or Nothing preview. AE Double or Nothing. Oh, bars are opening Friday? Oh, yeah, Friday there's no more curfew, right? Does curfew end in Quebec on Friday? I think it does, right? We've been under curfew since, what, January? You're not allowed to leave your house after 8 o'clock, and then it was 9:30. Now it's 9:30. But still, like, it sucks, right? Curfew. Like, who wants to live under curfew? I'm vaccinated. I mean, one time. I got one of the shots, and I still got to be under curfew. But I think next week is curfew over in Quebec, which is cool. No more curfew. I got half a COVID shot. Like, I feel like this pandemic is almost over, right? Are we getting out of this shit? God damn, pal. By September, I'm going to be double vaxxed. Ready to go. Ready to party. We're going to have a big party. Ringside Report Fiesta. Maybe. Although some of the members of the team, the direct member, like the actual, like Fred and AJ. We'll talk about Fred and AJ on Thursday. I don't know. Oh, Angelo says it ends Friday at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Friday morning? So Friday night, you could go out and party all night till Saturday morning till the wee hours. You could do whatever the fuck you want. Good God almighty. Isn't that crazy, though? Thursday night, you can't go out. Friday night, do whatever the fuck you want. Okay. Glenn's giving driving tips to get to Ottawa. Doug Hepburn says what's making WWE look bad is all the dark side and A&E bios. I almost said AEW bios. The A&E bios reminding us of how great it was. Yeah. I mean, the Nick Gage thing didn't really remind me about how great WWE was. Although it kind of did. It's like, oh, at least WWE's not doing that shit. I think that's over the line, the Nick Gage stuff. I don't like that. It's too much for me. I don't like just like taking a thing that cuts people and then cutting somebody with it. Because it's a wrestling match, right? And if you have a knife, if you have a pizza cutter, why would you stop at just cutting his head? Why not just cut his throat and just kill him? If you're going to bring a knife into it, why not just kill him? You know, it doesn't really make sense. The psychology is a little weird, and it's just like gory and violent for violence sake, and I don't like the technique in it so much. I'm not so into the deathmatch style wrestling. The WCW going to North Korea Dark Side of the Ring was real good. That was real good. Interesting. The fact they had Antonio Inoki on the show was cool. The Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior, is this week on Dark Side of the Ring. And they just did the WWE Ultimate Warrior documentary on A&E. So Warrior's getting the double dose this week. It's Warrior week. Warrior on Sunday for Dark Side of the or for A&E, and then coming up on Thursday, it's the Dark Side Warrior, which should be pretty dark, right? That'll be interesting. I saw most of the A&E documentary on Ultimate Warrior. It was all right. Not bad. But yeah, that last Dark Side of the Ring, the North Korea episode, was real interesting. Scott Norton, Too Cold Scorpio, and I like Too Cold Scorpio getting into a fight with Hawk. Too Cold saying he beat up Hawk, and then Scott Norton's like, if Hawk was in his right mind, if he wasn't all beat up, he would have kicked the shit out of Scorpio. And I'm like, yeah, would he though? Would he though? Like there's this thing in wrestling where it's like, oh, because I'm much bigger than you and I'm like really strong and I've won fights that I could kick your ass. But like once in a while there are guys that, they will beat up bigger guys in wrestling because they're skilled in fighting and the other guy is not. And like sometimes pro wrestlers don't quite understand that. Like Scott Norton, I'm sure is a tough guy and he's big and he's strong and everything. But like he's his claim to fame was that he was an arm wrestling champion. I don't know many arm wrestling champions that won UFC titles. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Scott Norton, but what the fuck does he know about a real fight? Like a real fight with people that are trained to fight. You know what I'm saying? Too Cold Scorpio, I think, has like some legit fighting abilities. Like Andre the Giant tried to fuck with Bad News Brown one time. Bad News Brown fucked him up. You don't fuck with Bad News Brown. That guy was a judo guy. He had boxing. Andre the Giant was a monster. Everybody's scared of Andre, not Bad News Brown. I think Andre the Giant actually... I think the story goes Andre called Bad News the N-word, and Bad News like got in his face, and it got... I think Bad News like maybe beat up Andre a little bit. That's a hell of a story. Don't fuck with Bad News Allen. Bad News Brown. All right. Glenn's going to send Angelo his gear. That's good to know. Yes, Glenn, Andre did take a shit on Bad News. Later, they had a match together, and Andre got him in the corner and shat. Just took a shit in his trunks while he was like kind of pushing his ass into Bad News in the corner. As revenge for the attack, for the beatdown. I don't know. I'm kind of on Team Bad News on that one. Why did Andre call him the N-word? I mean, you do that, I'm on the other guy's side, right? I'm not on your side, Andre. Everyone wants to cancel Hulk Hogan. What about Andre? How about that? I mean, Hogan, sure, fine. But Andre, too. I mean, there's that story that's been confirmed. Said the N-word to Bad News. Bad News fucked him up. Weeks later, whatever it was, Andre shat on him. That's a wrestling story. Everybody wants to cancel Hulk Hogan for being racist. What about Andre the Giant? I don't want to cancel Andre the Giant. Just for the record. I'm not on Team Cancel Andre or Team Cancel Hogan. Although I understand if you want to. Like, I don't have a beef with you doing it. I'm just not ready to do it myself because I'm too much of a Hulkamaniac, and I also love Andre the Giant. But I also like Bad News Brown, and I respect the shit out of him. I think he's awesome. Maybe respect the shit out of him is not really... Andre respected the shit out of himself. And he shat on Bad News. Okay, should we talk about Raw? I think it's time. So Raw started with Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston. There was a promo with MVP and all that stuff, but it was just to set up the match. So last week, Kofi won a couple matches. He beat like Bobby Lashley in the main event. So now Kofi is trying to do a Kofi Mania 2 possibly, which I think is good. This is what Raw really needed. It needed some flavor in the main event, some excitement, you know? I like Kofi Kingston a lot. The match was okay. It was Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston. It ended in like a DQ melee when Bobby Lashley and MVP just kind of attacked at a random time in the match. Like they're just kind of wrestling for a while, and it was good. And it seemed like the winner was going to face Bobby at Hell in a Cell for the title. But then there was like a DQ finish because Lashley and MVP just jumped in and started fighting the guys. They were ringside. They were just waiting. And then they did it. So it's kind of like, it's not a great finish there. There's no payoff, right? It's just kind of, but DQ. And then Kofi and Woods and Drew, they took out MVP and Bobby and sent them packing. So now next week, it's going to be Drew versus Kofi. And the winner does get a shot at the WWE title against Bobby at Hell in a Cell. And Adam Pearce told Bobby that if he interferes in the match next week, that he's suspended for 90 days without pay. So Bobby can't do anything in the match. So they have to have a winner between Drew and Kofi. But, like, what does that mean, suspended without pay? Like, I mean, 90 days, 3 months pay. You don't want to lose that if you're Bobby Lashley. I'm trying to look at it from a real perspective here. So say you're Bobby Lashley for real, right? You're the WWE champion. You're like, well, 90 days, I can't work. I get no money, but I'm still WWE champion. Like, how much money does Bobby have saved in the bank? You know what I'm saying? Can he afford to take 3 months off with no pay? What's his situation? He seems to have a lot of ladies around him. They seem to probably be paid by Bobby Lashley and MVP to be around them, so that seems to cost quite a bit. Right? Bobby Lashley's hanging with, like, sexy, muscular ladies. There was, like, 6 of them. And they mostly all look like kind of wrestlers in dresses, right? Lady wrestlers in dresses. Sexy muscle ladies. And that's what I'm calling them. Deal with it. And they hang around Bobby now, and I assume that I think the idea is they're paid escorts. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm not sure what these ladies are doing with Bobby and MVP, or what exactly the affiliation is supposed to be. Like, what are we supposed to understand these ladies are? Like, who are these ladies? Are they just friends of Bobby and MVP? They're hangers-on? Does Bobby have 6 girlfriends? Does he have 3 and MVP has 3? Who are they? I think there's different ladies than they were last week. But it's not like they're going from town to town, so they have, ladies in every town. It's the same town every week. It's the Thunderdome. Who are the ladies supposed to be? Are they the Hurt Business now? What's the situation with the ladies? I'd like somebody to explain to me what the affiliation is, or are they just paid escorts by Bobby and MVP? Are Bobby and MVP just paying ladies? Or the Godfather, maybe. But the Godfather was a human trafficker. I mean, that was his official gimmick, right? Human trafficker, Godfather of the Nation of Domination. I mean, they called him a pimp back then, but now we call them human traffickers, I think. So, are we to understand that Bobby and MVP are human traffickers as well? Are they pimps? Or are they paying human trafficker? Or just, are these ladies independent contractors? Somewhat like Bobby and MVP. I don't know. I don't know who the ladies are, but they hang out with Bobby and MVP now. They have ladies with them for some reason. So, could Bobby just, take 3 months off and be like, fuck it. 3 months, I don't have to defend WWE title. I'm still WWE champion, right? What do I need 3 months for? Fuck it. But I guess the 3 months no pay is going to stop him from interfering in the match next week. Drew versus Kofi. Winner gets Bobby at Hell in a Cell. You think we have a winner in this one? Or do they do a triple threat? They seem to be fond of doing triple threats lately, right? Seeing a lot of those. They don't really want to pick a winner. So they just say, both of you get it. Maybe we have a non-finish next week, a double DQ, a double count out or something. And they just both get Bobby at Hell in a Cell. Or MVP interferes and, Adam Pearce is like, no, match is still on. Bobby has to wrestle both of them now. I can see that happening. Because, I don't see Kofi just beating Drew, right? I doubt they have Kofi beat Drew. Because Kofi beat Bobby last week, but, with Drew interference. So, it's not like Kofi's being built super strong. So, Kofi doesn't beat Drew clean. And he's not going to cheat to win because they're both babyfaces. Drew, I don't think beats Kofi because I think he gets heat from doing it. I mean, there's no crowd, but, I don't think people like Drew more if he just beats Kofi Kingston. I think people get mad at Drew. They're like, oh, why'd you beat Kofi? We love Kofi. He's so nice, and he's smaller than you. What are you doing that to him for? So I don't really see how they get out of it. I think we have a non-finish, and they do a triple threat at Hell in a Cell. Or Kofi somehow beats Drew, pins him. It's possible. It's possible Kofi wins, and they do Kofi Bobby, which I would prefer, because they can't do Drew and Bobby again one-on-one. That would be a disaster. But it is the WWE, so you never know. Glenn is trying to figure out how to become a member. Glenn and Angelo are trying to figure out merchandise in the chat right now. That's what's happening in the chat. I don't know what's going on. Who's Cole Caulfield? Oh, he's a hockey player, right? They need him on the show? What show? Raw? He's that young guy, right? And he didn't play tonight. Is that the deal? I saw something about him. People were mad because he wasn't playing. Isn't he supposed to be this superstar? Why didn't they play him? If the Canadians have a young superstar who's really good at hockey, why wouldn't he play? In a big game. If I was running the team, I would have put him on the ice. But that's just me. I don't know shit about hockey. All right? That's Dave's 2 cents on hockey. I've got big opinions on hockey now that I've watched 2 minutes of a game. I watched 2 minutes of the Canadians game tonight, and I have big opinions. Cole Caulfield. Oh, he did play. Oh, Glenn says he did play? He played in the game tonight? Well, good. They listened to my advice that I only thought in my head and gave them now after the game is over. Oh, he played. Oh, well, good. Was he good? I thought he wasn't going to play, but I thought he wasn't playing. Somebody was like, oh, he's not playing. I see stuff on Twitter because I have friends in the hockey world, and they like hockey, and I follow them on Twitter, and I see what they say, and they seem upset about things sometimes. So he played. So what's the story? He wasn't going to play, but then they're like, okay, let's have him play. Or was he always going to play and I just read a thing incorrectly? Because I don't really, I skim through. I don't really know what's going on. Oh, Doug Hepburn says, Dave, you don't realize how right you are about Caulfield. Caulfield? Caulfield? Hey, I don't know. Co or Caw? Caw! They call him the Birdman. Caulfield. I don't think that'll work. He says they sat him first 2 games. Why? Isn't he supposed to be really good? To me, if you've got a hot young hockey star, you put him in a game that's an important game, no? That's what I would do. Oh, they're trying to protect him. He's young and small. Well, he shouldn't be on the team then, if he's young and small. Get off the team, you young small man. I have no idea. Wait until the Euro Cup of soccer starts, and I'm going to have big opinions on soccer. Big, strong opinions on a game I know very little about. But I do follow every 2 years when there's a big tournament. I've got 4 France jerseys in my closet just ready to go. We are ready. We are ready for another victory. It was pretty sweet to see France win the World Cup last time. That was nice. That was real nice. I enjoyed that very much. Very much. Took a lot of the sting away from, was it 2006 when they lost to Italy there? The Zidane headbutt? That sucked. I didn't like that. I'm a big supporter of Les Bleus. And you will hear about it in like a couple of weeks. As soon as that Euro Cup of soccer starts, oh, baby. This show's going to turn into a soccer show. I'm just going to talk about France and all the players. It's going to be like a Paul Pogba appreciation show. Pogba! You got to love that guy. Magnificent. I don't know shit really about soccer. I don't follow soccer at all. But I watch, like, when the World Cup is on or when the Euro Cup is on, I watch, like, every game. I watch every France game for sure, and then I watch, like, pretty much all the other games, depending on, like, the time zone. Like, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. to watch Croatia and Switzerland or whatever, but, like, if it's on at a normal time, I'm watching that shit. I love it. I don't know what it is about the Euro Cup and the World Cup. I also like the Copa America, but they don't show that so much on TV. But that's a good tournament too. The South American, it's like a South American Euro, South American Cup of Soccer. Tremendous. Brazil, Argentina, all those teams in there. Very fun soccer. I like soccer. It's a fun game to watch. I just can't, like, watch all the soccer. You know what I mean? It's like so much soccer all the time. And, it's club teams, and I don't live in England, so I can't get into it. Glenn says just root for Germany, can't go wrong in soccer. Incorrect. You root for France. That's how you never go wrong. Won the last World Cup. How do you like them apples? Gonna win this Euro Cup. Everything's gonna go well. I love it. I got big opinions on sports that I don't know very much about. I know about wrestling, though, let me tell you. Or do I? Or do I just have big fake opinions like I do on soccer and hockey? That's up for you to decide. Nikki Cross beat Rhea Ripley tonight, and they beat the clock challenge. But she didn't, like, win a match. She just didn't get beat in 2 minutes. Because Charlotte and Rhea Ripley were backstage, and they were kind of talking, and then Nikki Cross showed up, and she's like, I'm not scared of you. I'll wrestle either one of you. And Charlotte's like, nah, you're not worth my time. I can beat you in 2 minutes. And Rhea Ripley's like, see, Charlotte, you're a dick. You're talking down to people. What's your problem? And then Charlotte's like, oh, yeah? Well, if you think you're so cool, why don't you beat Nikki Cross over here in 2 minutes? And Rhea's like, fine, no problem. And then I'm like, well, Rhea, you were just saying that Charlotte is talking down to Nikki Cross, but you're the one who just accepted a match where you're like, I can beat you in 2 minutes. You suck. So who's really disrespecting Nikki Cross here? The Rhea Ripley character is not working for me. So then Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley kind of wrestle for 2 minutes. There's a clock. It's like beat the clock challenge, which usually it's like you have to beat them in a certain amount of time. Like, it should have been like Charlotte has to wrestle Nikki, Rhea has to wrestle Nikki, whoever beats her fastest wins something. But that's not how it was. It was Nikki versus Rhea, and Nikki won and celebrated like she'd won the title by not losing in 2 minutes. Time elapsed. It was a 2-minute time limit match that ended in a draw, and the announce team and Nikki Cross were acting like she'd won the title at WrestleMania. It was weird. It was super weird. Yeah, that's right, Glenn. It's a new format. It's the Monday Night Raw sports show. I tell you, I could do that. But, I mean, my sports knowledge is limited. Unless you want to talk about the New York Yankees, who are doing pretty well for themselves. Although, I don't think did we play today? Or did we? I don't know. I don't know if we played today. So, I really don't know very much. What's happening in the NBA? I'm going for Portland. Or the Knicks. I don't know. I actually have no idea what's happening in basketball. Or any other professional sports. No, the Yankees did not play today. That's why. I was like, what's going on with the Yankees? They won yesterday. Aaron Judge with a walk-off walk. Get another victory for the Yanks. Oh, they're playing the Blue Jays tomorrow. That means it's going to be on TV. Hell yeah. 7:05 first pitch. Corey Kluber on the mound. First start since his no-hitter last week. Corey Kluber. Let's go, Yankees. Let's go. Playing the Jays tomorrow. And we are one game back of the Tampa Rays in first place. Red Sox half a game back of the first place Rays, who are surging. They got a super long win streak. They've won 11 in a row. But the Yankees have won 6 in a row. Okay? And they're only a game back of the Tampa Rays right now for first place in the AL East. Oh, baby. It's getting hot outside, and baseball's starting to mean something. April and May, like, who gives a shit? But once June and July hit, then the season starts to mean something. And that's when the Yankees need to come on, and they're coming on strong, and I love it. I love it so much. I could talk to you guys about Aaron Judge forever as well. I see my dad chiming in, says the Rays are in first place now. My dad is a big Rays fan because he thinks they're going to move to Montreal and become the Expos or the X-Rays or whatever. But you know what? Even if they were here, I don't think I could cheer for them. Even if the Rays became the Expos, I would not cheer for them. Because I hate them so much now because I love the Yankees so much. It would be really hard for me to cheer for the Rays even if they played in my hometown. Which is crazy. That's how much I love the Yankees. Like, if it's the Rays coming in and they're the Expos for some reason, but the Yankees are playing them, like, you really think I'm going to root for the Rays? Whoever the fuck they have on their team? That guy, Randy Arizona? I hate that guy. Fucking Randy Arizona. Son of a bitch. I could never cheer for Randy Arizona. Never. Aaron Judge forever. It's Glaber Day. All day. Every day. Fuck Rusev Day. Glaber Day's better. Angelo says he's not a baseball fan at all. Well, I'm sorry about this, Angelo. But I'm doing a little Yankee talk because, good God almighty, I love the Yankees so much. Like, I really do. I love the Yankees so much. Oh. I want to go to New York and see a game as soon as I can. I've never seen Aaron Judge play, and that is sad to me. I really want to see Aaron Judge. The Yankees were supposed to come to Montreal to play the Jays in an exhibition preseason game, but then COVID happened. I had tickets. I was going to see the Yankees in person, and then it got canceled. The Yankees were going to be here. I don't think Aaron Judge was going to play, though. I think he was hurt at the time, so no Judge. But still, there's so many players on that team I want to see. And Duhar? Garrett Cole? Like, come on, man. Gary Sanchez? Angelo says he doesn't mind the baseball talk. He just can't get behind a team. When the Expos left, I was totally heartbroken. I'd always been a Yankee fan. I've always been a Yankee admirer. And then the Expos left, and I was like, well, 100% Yankees now. What are you going to do? I got nothing left. And it's a lot easier being a Yankee fan than it was being an Expos fan. Let me tell you. It's way nicer on this side of the fence when you're the winners and you're just like knocking everybody around. You're like, fuck you, we're going to outbid you, we're going to buy this guy, It's tremendous. Being an Expos fan, I was like, oh shit, we're going to lose this guy. The Yankees are going to steal this guy from us. We're going to lose this season again. We suck. We've never won a World Series. We never made the playoffs in my lifetime. I never saw the Expos play one playoff game my entire lifetime. but I've seen the Yankees win a bunch of World Series. You know what I mean? It's much nicer being a Yankee fan than it was being an Expos fan. Being an Expos fan was fucking heartbreaking. Being a Yankees fan is mostly joy. Although there's, also some heartbreak. But the heartbreak comes with the comfort in knowing next year we will fucking come back out for revenge. I love the Yankees. I love Yankee fans. I love how much we demand from the team. I love how demanding Yankees fans are. They don't accept shit. And, Canadians fans could learn a thing or two from Yankees fans. You get a losing team on the ice, you fucking shit on that team. You shit on management. You destroy them. You boo everybody until they do what you want. And even when they do what you want, if they have a game where they don't do what you want, you boo the shit out of them. Yankees fans never liked A-Rod. A-Rod was a tremendous baseball player. Yankees fans are like, fuck you. It's fantastic. And they win. Because management is afraid of the fan base. Doug Hepburn says being a Yankees fan is like a Habs fan, at least how they used to be. Yeah, but that's not how it is, Doug. The Yankees still win. You heard what I just said? They're a game out of first place. They're going to win the division. They're going to win the pennant. They're going to go to the ALCS. They might win the World Series this year. They win because the fans demand that shit. We don't accept anything but excellence. And if you don't give it to us, we want your head on a stick. Canadians fans keep buying that shit up. They don't care. And Canadians management knows it. And they silence anybody with a voice loud enough to fucking call them on their shit. But what Canadians ownership does, they don't spend the money. They don't care. And they let the fans, keep buying tickets and keep, It's a sucker's game being a Canadians fan, man. They don't really want to win. They're going into a first round of a playoff series, and they're expected to lose, and they will lose. I mean, let's be honest here, right? The Vegas odds, from what I saw, had the Canadians as big dogs. They're down 2-1 in this series. I mean, I hope they win for you guys' sake. I know a lot of Habs fans. I'm sure there's some Leafs fans out there, too, that are watching. But, I mean, let's be honest here. They're going to lose because they don't really care, man. They're getting your money anyways. Yankees fans, Yankees, these people will get mad. These people will throw shit. These people will go bananas. Sports radio will be hard on the Yankees management if they lose. Hard. And sports radio is not going to be hard on the Canadians if they lose. And if they are hard on the Canadians, they'll get a phone call from Canadians management, and then they'll stop being hard on the Canadians. Yeah. I'm just telling you how it is in real life, how it really works. Take it for what it is. I know about these things, all right? I've been around. I've seen it happen. For real, for real. Charlotte Flair beat Asuka. I thought the match was really good. Charlotte beat Asuka, beat her clean. Good match. Solid. Went about 20 minutes. Good, solid wrestling match tonight between Charlotte and Asuka. Problem is, we've seen it a million times, and there was nothing exactly on the line here. You would think it would be for a match against Rhea Ripley at Hell in a Cell for the title, but they didn't say that. Charlotte beating Asuka, you would think would lead to a title match. I think it will. Oh, Glenn super chatting. Oh, Red Sox over Yankees. Yeah, Bob, I'm sure they are hard on the Habs, but there's a limit to how hard they can go, There's a limit to what they can say, because they know more than what they can say. You know what I'm saying? There's a limit to how far they're allowed to go. A lot of these guys. They could go pretty far, though, but, you know, they got to be careful. You got to be careful because you don't want to upset your partners. Red Sox over Yankees, Glenn. Come on, man. Why you got to do that to me? I disrespect that super chat. Take it back. Take it back. So Charlotte and Asuka, you know, they wrestled a million times. I think the match was good, though. I think it was real good. Charlotte reversed out of the Asuka lock to get the 1-2-3. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin wrestled again. They're feuding. It's a Raw feud. It's a TV feud. It is what it is. It was a solid little match. It wasn't great, but it was fine. You know, it was fine. Cedric had some nice wrestling boots on. He got from The Rudis, which is pretty cool. I like that company. They have cool gear. Nice wrestling gear, The Rudis. Glenn, I know you're always looking for some nice wrestling boots. I know you. You're not. You're a barefoot fighter. Cedric beat Shelton after a backflip kick thing and a thumb to the eye. Cedric is the bad guy in this, so he thumbed Shelton in the eye to get the victory. Then we had Riddle and Xavier Woods, which was by far the match of the night. Excellent wrestling match between these two. At one point, Riddle was on his back and did like a flip onto Woods on his shoulder into a vertical suplex. That was nuts. I've seen a lot of wrestling over the years. I've never seen anybody do that before. I've never seen that move pulled off before ever in my life. Riddle on his back, put his feet on Woods' hips, and Woods pulls him up. Riddle flips from his back up onto Woods' shoulder into a vertical suplex position. And then Woods drops him with the suplex. It was crazy. Riddle is so good. So good. So is Woods. I mean, I've been telling you guys for years how good Xavier Woods is. He should be a future WWE champion. Honestly, I kind of wish Woods was getting this little pushki. And maybe it would be Woods versus Bobby at Hell in a Cell, because I think Woods deserves it at some point too. But he has this great match with Riddle. He loses. Riddle hits him with the RKO, 1-2-3. Excellent match. Match of the night. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. Like, go out of your way and see this. If you didn't watch Raw, watch that match. Honestly. And I don't say that very often. Like, you know, there's a lot of matches on Raw. This was very, very good. This was worth watching. If you are a wrestling fan and you did not see Raw, watch this one. All right? Watch this match. Riddle versus Woods was beautiful. Jackson Ryker beats AJ Styles. Oh. Angelo says, according to the WWE, it'll be Charlotte versus Ripley for the title at Hell in a Cell. Oh, okay. Maybe I missed that. Oh, yeah, it's official. Oh, okay, cool. So was that match a number one contenders? They didn't seem to say it. But, that match is official. I just refreshed the Wikipedia for Hell in a Cell, and Rhea versus Charlotte is on it, 1-on-1 for the Raw Women's title, and it'll be Bobby versus either Drew or Kofi for the WWE title. All right, cool. Glenn says Riddle is the best in WWE right now. I think he might be. Like, total package, the promos, the wrestling, he is very, very, very good. I am a big fan of Matt Riddles. I think he's phenomenal. The phenomenal one lost tonight. AJ Styles lost to Jackson Ryker. Shit, pal. Sometimes bad things happen. I don't know. Jackson Ryker, who looks like a white supremacist porn star more than a pro wrestler. Just saying. He beat AJ Styles after a slam and some interference from Elias. Elias interfered, hit AJ with a knee on the outside, and then Ryker hit some sort of slam on AJ and pinned him. Ryker's terrible. Omos showed up after the match. I don't know why he wasn't there ringside, but he showed up afterwards and chased Elias to the stage. And then Omos pushed Elias into the video board on the stage and then just walked away. He was like, yeah, that's enough. Sheamus beat Humberto Carrillo. Got the pinfall after rolling him up and grabbing a handful of tights. Sheamus continuing his feud. He's the U.S. champion. He seems to be feuding with two men at the same time because he was beating up Carrillo after the match, put on his clover leaf, which is a Texas clover leaf, but whatever. He's Irish, so it's just a clover leaf. Get it? And Ricochet hit a drop kick off the top rope to help Carrillo escape and beat up Sheamus a little bit. So Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo seem to be together, but simultaneously feuding with Sheamus, who's the U.S. champion. So I don't know. Is Ricochet going to wrestle Humberto at some point to see who the number one contender is? Do they just do a 2-on-1 match for the U.S. title, and if they win, they're both U.S. champion? Like, I don't know. Whatever. I don't really care about that at all. Also, like, AJ Styles and Omos, they're the tag team champions, right? And they seem to be feuding with Jackson Riker and Elias. Who's the babyface there? Is it AJ and Omos? Because I obviously like them more than Elias and Riker, but am I supposed to? I think I am, but I'm not quite sure. I'm really not. Like, because AJ and Omos, they were heels with the New Day, right? But then now their feud right after that is with Elias and Riker, and I guess they're babyfaces now? I really don't know. They haven't really changed their character at all. AJ's not really talking, so maybe that's it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, maybe they're both heels, and it's a heel-on-heel feud for the Raw Tag Team titles, which also kind of stinks. I don't know. Like, their titles are all in these weird angles that aren't that good, you know? Like, there's some decent stuff on Raw, but, like, the titles are kind of like, The men's titles especially, like Rhea versus Charlotte, that makes sense to me. But Sheamus as the U.S. champion feuding with Humberto and Ricochet is kind of weird. The Raw Tag Team Champions, AJ and Omos, who just won, they seem to be a heel team. Now they're feuding with Jackson Riker and Elias, another heel team. That's kind of weird. And then there's Bobby and Drew in their endless feud, you know, for the WWE title. So the titles are just kind of like wrapped up in this weird shit that's kind of like, I don't like that so much. I like Natty, Neidhart, Tamina. This was the main event. I like that this was the main event. It was Natty and Tamina beating Shayna and Nia to retain the tag team titles. The finish was awful. Finish was awful. Natty has Shayna set up for the sharpshooter. Reginald gets on the apron. Shayna then rolls up Natty, but the ref is distracted by Reggie. So Shayna has Natty for a 3 count, but the ref doesn't see because Reginald is causing the distraction. He was trying to help, but he winds up being a hindrance. And then Shayna yells at Reggie to leave, and she's like, I told you not to come out here. You're just a distraction. Get out of here, Reggie. And then Reggie leaves, but then as he's leaving, he walks into a wall of fire that kind of bursts out of the stage, which is like Alexa Bliss and her powers, I think, right? So Shayna's distracted by this, obviously. It takes forever, by the way. Shayna's just standing there while Natty's down for no reason. Right, Natty's just down. She didn't get hit with anything. She's just, like, on the ground. Because Natty was going for a sharpshooter on Shayna. Shayna reverses the sharpshooter into a roll-up. Then all this distraction stuff with Reggie happens, and Natty's on the ground selling nothing. Right? She didn't get hit with anything. She's selling nothing. And Shayna, for some reason, doesn't realize that Natty's, like, probably fine just lying there. And then, of course, she gets distracted, and Natty rolls her up 1, 2, 3, and that's the end. Not great. Like, Natty got hit with nothing. She's down, selling. Shayna's like, oh, Reggie. What's happening with Reggie? So then after the match, Shayna's really mad at Reggie. And Reginald, she's like, hey, you Cirque du Soleil sommelier jerk. I'm going to wrestle you next week on Raw. So Shayna challenged Reginald to a match for Raw next week, and I assume that it'll happen. Right? Why wouldn't it? So Shayna versus Reginald next week on Raw is something we have to look forward to. Not a great finish to the match, but I could watch Natty versus Shayna all day. Those two are really good together. They're really good, just on their own, but together they're really good in the ring. They have chemistry. They've trained with each other. They're very good. They know each other well. They're very good together. Nia and Tamina, Tamina, her power slam was sloppy. Like, a lot of the stuff she does is real sloppy in the ring. Her Thez press on Nia was real sloppy. Like, Tamina starts off strong, and then like 2 minutes in, she seems like she's very tired and totally done, which I kind of understand because she's not really had long wrestling matches at all ever in her career, and now she's being asked to, so I kind of get why Tamina's getting blown up in these matches, but like, it's obvious. And Natty is really carrying this team. But I'm happy for Tamina that she gets to be tag team champion. Like, she's been in the business for a while. She deserves it, But watching her wrestle Nia tonight,
Super chat.
Thank you, Harold. All right. Harold Schneider says, welcome back. Got to go to bed. Tomorrow's a trek to the office. Yeah, for sure. It's getting late tonight. Thank you, Harold, for the super chat. Thank you, Harold, for being a member. I appreciate you, Harold. Thank you very much. But yeah, Tamina was not so great, not so hot so tonight. Yeah. Craig Paquette joined in the chat. What's up, Craig? Craig is a member as well. I said that like Smokey in Friday. What's up, Craig? Gonna hang with your pal Smoke Dog. Anybody knows Friday knows that was a funny joke. Okay. Anybody that doesn't know Friday, yeah. What's up, Craig? Smokey. You guys got to see Friday, man. That is a classic movie. Classic. Oh. Ice Cube plays Craig. It's a good one. If you haven't seen Friday, like, what are you doing? Don't watch Raw. Watch Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't watch wrestling at all. Watch Friday. Don't watch anything. Watch Friday if you haven't seen Friday. You haven't seen Friday, man. What are you doing? And next Friday. Mike Epps? How you going to disrespect Mike Epps like that? I love Mike Epps. Doug Hepburn says Shayna should be champ. She's a real badass. Ripley is a choreographed badass. Hell yeah. Yes. Rhea Ripley pretends to be everything that Shayna really is. Shayna is the real deal. I got all the time in the world for Shayna Baszler. I love her. I think she is tremendous. She is a pioneer of women's MMA. You talk to people that know MMA, that know, women's MMA. They will tell you Shayna is an OG of this game. She is no joke. And she is a tremendous, tremendous WWE superstar. I love Shayna. I think she is magnificent. She is legit as they come. And I hope she beats the shit out of Reginald next week. I hope it's real rough. Doug Hepburn seems Friday. I know you've seen Friday, Doug. I see you. I see you. Oh, man. Dino Steak says Dave hates the finish. No, not people from Finland. You know, the finish to the match. You know what I'm saying? People from Finland, I'm sure, are totally cool. The finish. Who's Finnish? Anybody Finnish? Wasn't Saku Koivu Finnish?
Super chat.
Whoa! Angelo dropping a big super chat. He says, Doug made me do it. Oh, Angelo, you trying to take over? Is that what's happening? Angelo wants to be the super chat leader of the night once again. Classic Angelo. That's a classic Angelo move. That's what he does. He can see the show's winding down. I've talked about all of Raw. He knows where the show's going. It's about to end. And he's now the super chat leader of the night. He equaled Doug's super chat, and then he dropped an earlier one too. Angelo did. So now Angelo is a super chat leader of the night. And he says, Doug made me do it. That's an Angelo move. And I appreciate you so much for doing it, man. I really do. I appreciate all you guys for spending your hard-earned money on the Ringside Report Network. It keeps us going. It motivates us. And the money's going to good use, you know? Paying for all sorts of equipment and production and internet and you know, whatever else we need. Whatever else we need that the technical team needs, and merch and stuff to buy for giveaways. You know? Might be some more giveaways coming up, so appreciate you, Angelo. Appreciate you, Doug. Harold. Guys dropping a super chats tonight. Very generous. Even Glenn, but Glenn's message was distressing, so he said Reds over Yankees, which I don't like, in the super chat.
Special thank you from
What the
heart.
hell? Something just happened. Scared the shit out of me. I think Rob Cluse renewed his membership. You can go to donate.ringsidereport.net, become a member there. You can go to merch.ringsidereport.net, buy some merch there. And you could just become a member right under the video.
Special thank you from the heart.
Oh, it happened again. I think that was the same thing, though. That was the same guy. That was Rob Cluse again. It dropped again. Sometimes things happen. Yeah, you could click the thing under me that says join under the video on YouTube. You could join the YouTube channel. Oh, Angelo's, your birthday is on Wednesday? Yeah, for sure, man. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Angelo. We will not be on Wednesday because there's no Dynamite Wednesday. We would normally be on Wednesday nights after Dynamite, but there's no Dynamite, so we're not going to be on Wednesday. We'll be on Friday, and we're going to watch Dynamite with you, which is kind of crazy. Never done that before. After SmackDown, we're going to watch Dynamite at the same time that you watch Dynamite. We'll talk about Dynamite, and we'll talk about hockey, and we'll talk about baseball. We'll talk about soccer. We'll talk about Netflix. We'll talk about UFC. We'll talk about cheeseburgers, and so on. You guys like cheeseburgers? I love them. I think they're delicious. Shout out to Angelo, man. Happy birthday, Angelo. One of the top members of the team. A hell of a dude. Hell of a man. And, you know, appreciate you reaching out last week, Angelo. We kind of disappeared, kind of took a week off, checking on my well-being. I appreciate that, man. I really do. It touches me. Like, it's nice. You guys care. Some of you guys actually care, not just about the show, but about me, like, personally as a human being. And that, like, you know, I feel that very much. So thank you. Thank you, Angelo. You're a good man. Appreciate it. That's it. That's it, I think. I think that's it. If you want a recommendation for Netflix movies, watch the movie Fairy. Ferry. Fetty. It's a Dutch, Belgian gangster movie, and now I'm watching the series. There's like a movie, and then there's also like a TV series called Undercover that's like about the guy. It's a Netflix drama show, gangster show. Think like Trailer Park Boys, Sopranos in Belgium. Kind of like Sopranos of Belgium, I would say. Not Italian mafia, but definitely organized criminals. Lots of murder, lots of twists and turns. Very good. I'm like really enjoying it. As soon as this show's over, I'm going to go back and watch more Undercover because that show is badass. But I would recommend watching the movie Fetty before. Ferry. It's on Netflix. It is goddamn tremendous. That's what I've been into. That's what I'm watching. And I love it. So watch that movie. All right? That's Dave's movie recommendation for right now. The movie Ferry. Ferry. It's on Netflix. If you like gangster movies, you will like this shit. You will. Good story. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Doug Hepburn. Is Mako here? Oh, Mako's there. Wishing Angelo a happy birthday. That's nice. That's nice. I like the community that the Ringside Report Network has created. I like that you guys talk to each other and you guys have met each other because of the show. That is nice as well. It's a nice thing that we've done here. It's a nice little community that we've created. And, hey, like the video and subscribe to the channel and help us continue to grow it. Right? And click the bell so you get notifications every time we're on because you never know when we might be on. You never know. Right? I didn't know we were going to do this show until about 9 o'clock tonight when I was like, well, I've seen an hour of Raw. I might as well watch the rest of this and come on. So you never know. I don't even know half the time. So click the bell so you get those notifications. For real, for real. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. And a big special shout out to the members. Love you guys. Angelo, we've never met in person, but I feel like we're friends, Doug as well. You know what I'm saying? I spend so much time with you guys here on the show. And, you support the channel like we're friends at this point. It's a crazy thing. So, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Doug Hepburn, Angelo, Harold Schneider, Craig Paquette. The members, man. I really appreciate you guys becoming members. And those of you who are not members, I would appreciate if you became members. It would be cool. It would be cool if you became members. The more members we have, the more this channel becomes a bigger thing and the possibilities become bigger and things get bigger and it's more fun for everybody. For real. Like we need more, the more members we have, we could get a certain amount of members and they're there. Then it gives us certain assurances and then we know, okay, well, we could work with this or we could do that. Like it's good to have members on a channel. The fact that we have members is a blessing, and I'm so very thankful for each and every one of you. But yeah, become a member because it will help grow the channel. And if you're a regular viewer that isn't a member, I assure you, becoming a member will pay off for you. It will pay off for everybody as a community, We're always working on things. I'm always working on stuff in my head. And that's why I need a break sometimes because it's always going. And sometimes you need to kind of shut the light so you can turn them back on at full blast when you come back, right? Appreciate you guys. That's the show. And, thank you to everybody super chatting as well tonight. Angelo, you're the super chat leader once again, my man. Doug Hepburn as well, dropping the super chat. Thank you, Doug. Harold Schneider dropping the super chat. Glenn McKenzie all the members of the team. Rob Cluse, I saw renewing the membership. You guys renewing the membership, staying on for months. I saw Patrick C. Hamilton. He's been a member for 5 months. Antoinette's been a member for 5 months too, and that's like right when we launched the membership program here. You know, some of you, like, you got on board like as soon as we did it, and you're sticking around, and that is amazing. I appreciate that. I really do. Helps you through the tough times, all right? And we're seeing the light. We're almost getting out of these tough times. The pandemic seems to be winding down. WWE's going back on the road in mid-July. I got one of the vaccines in me. I got a Pfizer. I think I got the Pfizer. Anyways, I got a vaccine. It feels pretty good. I want to buy Microsoft stock for some reason now, though. I think Bill Gates got to me, guys. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. All right. I'll be back Thursday night, 8 p.m. for some UFC talk with Freddie and AJ and all of you. It's the Ringside Report Network. I'm Dave. Thank you. Much love.